Hi, this is Trey Passer, and this is my movie review of Home of the Brave. Okay, first, before I start talking about this movie, a little clarification. When I start this channel, I want to review movies, of course, and I usually go to the movies every week, usually. But the last few weeks, there haven't been anything really. I think the last movie I saw in the theaters was Real Steel. Nothing has come out that really grabbed me, so that's why I haven't been putting up any reviews of current movies that are out, but I will be doing a review of Immortals, which comes out this Friday, from the producers of 300. And if you heard me in the past talk about 300, you know how much I love 300. Okay, so I will be doing a review of that. And but I decided to do a review of movies that I have. I have a bunch of movies here that I haven't watched actually, that I got because I heard good things about them, and I wanted to to pick them up and then watch them and judge for myself. And like I said, in my last update, my Blu-ray update, I talked about this movie, that I got this movie, Home of the Brave. I heard about it, and so I decided to pick it up, and I got it for like a $7.99 in the bin at Best Buy. And let me just say, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This movie is about the Iraq War veterans. Samuel L. Jackson, uh, Jessica Biel, Brian Presley, and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is in this movie. And also Chad Michael Murray, who you might remember from what's that show on the WB? I can't remember now. One Tree Hill. I'm sorry. He played Lucas on One Tree Hill. This story is basically about an incident that happens to them while they're over in Iraq. The beginning of the movie begins. Okay, let me just say first of all, because this review is gonna have spoilers in it because I haven't learned how to describe a movie without giving away things. So this movie is going to have spoilers. So for those who, and I'll put it in the description of the title, but for those who haven't seen it, okay, I guess you can shy away if you see this because I'm going to put it in the title. So, but for those who have seen it, or those who want to see it and don't mind the reviews, here you go. Here's my review. Okay, this movie is, like I said, it's about the Iraq War and about a group of soldiers, and their experience. They're about to come home from, they get the word in the beginning of the movie that they're about to come home in about 2 weeks, of course, and they're all excited about it and they're talking about it. And before they go, they have one last mission, and that's to escort a convoy of medical supplies um, to the Iraqis. And of course, this being a war movie, of course, there's an attack on them, and of course they get ambushed. And the beginning sequence of this ambush is very well shot. And the director of this movie is Irwin Winkler, who I believe he's the producer of the Rocky movies. Anyway, the ambush is shot beautifully, and Samuel Jackson's character in this movie is a doctor, a medic. He's a doctor in real life and a medic, of course, over there in Iraq. And Jessica Biel is a mechanic. She's driving the truck, and Brian Presley, 50 Cents, and Chad Michael Murray, they're soldiers in a unit. And like I said, when the ambush occurs, they get shot at. A lot of people get killed. Jessica Biel's character, her and her partner are driving the truck. Well, she's driving the truck, and they try to back up, and they get actually ambushed, and there's a bomb, and they get blown up. Okay, and Samuel Jackson's character rescues her, but of course she loses the right, not the whole arm, just the right from this point on. This point on, she loses that in the arm. Curtis Jackson, 50 Cents, Chad Michael Murray, and Brian Presley. They're chasing after the bad guys, and of course, Chad Michael Murray, he gets killed. Okay, 50 Cents, he falls, he trips, and he hurts his back, and Brian Presley gets shot in the leg. Okay, and with that backdrop, that's the end of the Iraqi part of the story. The real interesting part of the story starts when they get home, and basically this movie is about how they adjust to civilian life and stuff, and how they go through it through civilian life, all their troubles with their families and in the community and everything else. And this movie was very well written. I have to look on the box to see who wrote it, but it's very well written, very well acted, and there's a lot of emotional scenes in this. I found myself tearing up during certain parts of this. Maybe because I was in the service before, that's what maybe got to me a little bit more than I think it would be anybody else. But Like I said, Jessica Biel's character, she loses her right arm from, I guess, from this point on to that end, and she's trying to adjust. She tries to go back to high school. She's trying to teach females, I think, female soccer in the movie. And of course, she's having her troubles. She's having her issues, and she has somebody that was waiting for her back home, a boyfriend, which of course, she can't talk to him about what went on and stuff. And she has a young son. She's a divorced mother with a young son, and she's trying to adjust. And of course, she's having a hard time doing it. And the only person she can really relate to, I mean, she meets Brian Presley, his character. She goes to the movie with a family one day, and she meets him, and they sit there and they sort of have the conversation about how they feel like they're talking alien to the people around them, and nobody can understand what they're going through, and they discuss meds and stuff, and just about how hard a time they're having fitting in, and that's her story. Now Brian Presley, I guess would be the third main character of the movie. He's he tries when he gets back. He tries to he goes. They have the funeral for his friend Chad Michael Murray. They have his and he's comforting the widow and stuff and telling her how brave his friend was and everything. And he tries to get his job back in the gun store, but of course they gave it up and he can't get that job. So he gets the job in the movie, working in the movie theater. And his father tries to get him to take the police exam, of course, but he's having nightmares. He can't sleep. Okay, and he's just having trouble, adjusting to a civilian life. And there's a great scene in this where he kind of blows off the police exam, and he goes to his father who works in a garage. I guess a retired policeman. He goes to his garage, and his father had to pull some strings to get him to take the police exam, to secure his spot to take the police exam. And he basically explodes on his father, telling his father that he can't do it. And his father basically is calling him a pussy. And where he just absolutely loses it and just picks up a wrench and starts attacking the car, and he just breaks down and cries, and his father hugs him, and that was one of the emotional scenes that really got to me, where he just breaks down saying how he can't really deal with the civilian life, and nobody can understand what he went through. Okay, and now the third part is the Samuel L. Jackson part. Like I say, he's a doctor, and he comes home. He has a family. He has a teenage son, and played by Samuel L. Jones. No, not Samuel Jones. Sam Jones III, who played Pete on Smallville, and a young daughter. And Victoria Rowell plays his wife. And his problem is that when he comes home, like I said, he can't sleep, and he's having trouble adjusting like everybody else, and he starts drinking to compensate for the fact that he can't survive. And they actually show you they don't tell you at first what's really bothering him, and then he breaks down and tells his wife about an incident that happened when he first got there, and how the bodies just kept coming, and how he doesn't feel anything anymore, and that he saw so many young people dying left and right. And then there's another great scene which really got to me, where he's having he basically he's driving drunk. He invites these three laborers he's working on Thanksgiving to his home to have Thanksgiving with his family, which totally shocks them, of course. And then he absolutely loses trying to make a speech, and he runs into the back and apologizes, and then he picks up a gun like he's going to kill himself. And his wife comes into him and calms him down and takes the gun from him and tries to talk to him, and tell him that he needs help. And that was another very emotional scene. I think, like I said, this movie is just very well acted and very well written, and I absolutely love this movie. And let me tell you about the 50 Cent part, his part of the movie. He comes into the part. I thought he had a smaller, well, he did have a small part in this movie. They don't give him that much to do, but it is an important part in the movie, because when the Brian Presley character tries to, I guess, to talk to somebody, he goes to a veteran's place to try to talk about his feelings and stuff, and he finds his friend there, 50 Cent's character there, and he's complaining about how the VA is screwing around with his paperwork and he can't get his benefits and everything, and he basically loses it. And then you could see his disintegration throughout the rest of the movie, where he tries to talk to his girl, and his girl won't talk to him, and he just basically loses it. And at one point he holds her hostage, and just trying to get them. And then Brian Presley's character tries to talk to him, try to talk him down, but he winds up getting killed, 50 Cent. And then that which finally, like I said, that pushes Brian Presley's character just to re-enlist, because he just feels that's the only place where he belongs, and that's the place where he can honor his dead friend's memory by serving. And Jessica Biel's character, let me go back to her. Her character, she's like I said, she's there's a teacher, a fellow teacher at the school in the beginning of the movie that tries to get to know her and everything, and she kind of blows him off, and eventually she does warm up to him, and you see the beginning part of a budding relationship with them, where she finally starts to relax and not be so uptight, and you can see the start of a good relationship with her. And like I said, her and Samuel L. Jackson's character, like at the end of the movie, they sort of they have that turn where they seek help to cure. And I forgot one other thing I forgot to tell you about Samuel L. Jackson. He has a young teenage son, which I mentioned before, I think. Samuel L. Jackson, Sam Jones Jr. No, excuse me, Sam Jones the Third. That's what I meant. um, his son is very angry at him. I guess he's opposed to the war, of course, and there's one incident where he gets called into the principal's office because he has uh, a, a disparaging message on his shirt about the president at the time, President Bush, and of course the vice principal is trying to explain to them how you can't do that and we have rules and stuff, and Samuel Jackson just loses it in the office and basically tells the principal to mind his business, and then he leaves, and then he blows up at his son, telling him, "You don't know what you're talking about," and like I said, they have a very difficult relationship. You see it throughout the movie. They have incidents where they have this great conflict where his father, like I said, his son is angry at him, Samuel Jackson, for going to the war and not being there for him, and his father's trying to relate to him, and of course, like I said, he's having his troubles where he's drinking and everything else. But towards the end of the movie, like I said, Samuel Jackson seeks help, and hopefully you think by the end of the movie you see that they're making a turn for the better. Like I said, he's talking to a therapist now, Samuel Jackson's character, and his family is finally starting to heal. And like I said, I absolutely love this movie, and I would highly recommend it. I would give this movie definitely 3 stars and I would highly, let's say that real close up right there. I would highly recommend it to anybody. This is a great war movie. I mean, not a war movie, but it's a great movie about war and what the consequences on soldiers and families and everything else. And it doesn't preach to you and everything. And like I said, the performances are great, the direction is great, and the actors are top notch in this. So I would highly recommend this movie. So this is Trey Passer saying so long and take care. Till the next time.